the Clipper 2023-24 Race Crew Allocation Day. My name is Della Parsons. I'm the Crew Recruitment Director, as many of you will know, because I think I've interviewed many of you here in the room today. It's fantastic to see so many of you here, and I know you've come from all corners of the globe. We have around 425 of our 730 race crew here today. And I know we've got about 300 of you race crew tuning in via a live feed at home, so hello and welcome to everybody tuning in, no matter where you are today. We also have, let's not forget, about 170 crew supporters in the room here today. And again, many more of you tuning in via the live feed at home. I know you will feel like spectators at this point in time, but believe me, as someone who's been around the racetrack a couple of times, you will play a really vital role in the success of the Clipper race, whether you're cheering from home or coming out to visit your friends and family in the port stopovers on the racetrack. So this is where your adventure really begins now. Are you all excited? Yeah. Fantastic. So let's have a look at how today will work. We've got lots of things happening today. So the morning session, you're going to hear from various different members of our team from the different departments, more details about how the race is run and organised. You're going to hear about how important our partnerships play in the running of the Clipper race. You'll hear about the really interesting stuff that I'm interested in terms of the sailing. Let's get into the kind of challenges of the sailing of each of the legs, the kind of wind and weather conditions you're going to face. And of course, our communications team as well. You've all got a story to tell, and the communications guys are going to explain about how they're going to help share your story with the world that's watching on the race. So that's initially. Then, of course, we get into the all-important crew allocation. I know that's what you're really dying to hear today. That's where your wristbands come into play. So I know you're all glowing at the moment. Your wristbands, when we get to your teams, each team is going to have a different color. And as each skipper and AQP come on board, you're then going to find out your team color. If your color glows at that point when your skipper's on stage, that is going to be your skipper, that is going to be your team. So this is how you're all going to find out. Very exciting. Hopefully it will all work. I'm sure it will be fine. As a fail-safe, of course, we will have all of your names scrolling through the screen as well. So you will be able to look on the screen. And for those of you guys watching at home, hopefully you'll be able to spot your name scrolling through the screen as each team is announced. Let's just say as well, we are going to email you all individually. So within an hour of the crew allocation this morning, you will all receive an email confirming your team. So if you've missed your name at a point, or if you didn't spot the right color, you are going to get an email confirming which team you'll be with, who your skipper and your AQP will be. After we've done the crew allocation, we're then going to have a mass exit onto the steps of the Guildhall for the traditional race crew group photo. So all race crew will be gathered on the steps of the Guildhall with the skippers and AQPs as well to have the group photo taken. And then after that, we'll have members of staff collecting each team together, and you'll go into your different breakout groups around the building. So we've got lots of different rooms and areas set up. And of course, this afternoon is where your team bonding starts. You get to start to build on your race strategy. It's the very beginning of setting out how you're going to be as a team, how you're going to run your race campaign. For crew supporters in the room here today, you're going to have your own team bonding, your own supporters bonding session here in the afternoon. We have Nikki Miller looking after you. She's going to run through exactly what you can expect as the race unfolds across the next year, and how you can help and support your loved ones, and also help and support each other. Your crew supporters, you'll bond, you'll be like your own team throughout the course of the race as well. So that's happening this afternoon. And then as the evening unfolds, you'll then break out into your socializing. There's a little less formal part of it all where you really start the team bonding in the evening. So we've got lots to look forward to today. So let's start the session. So with Sir Robin and William Ward stepping away from the day-to-day running of the business, I'd now like to introduce on stage our Clipper Ventures Managing Directors, Laura Ayres and Chris Rushton.
Welcome to Clipper Ventures and the Clipper Race crew allocation. First of all, I would like to make a big thank you to our incredible team who have not only put on this event today, but they work incredibly hard behind the scenes, day in, day out, to make each race happen. They're here to make sure that you guys have the race of your life. Founded on Sir Robin's ambition for achieving something remarkable, the Clipper Ventures pillars enable extraordinary personal experiences by making them accessible and achievable.
Explain to me we've got all these different pictures here. What are the different pillars of Clipper Ventures?
Yeah, so our ecosystem includes some of the world's leading sailing and adventure brands. We hope that you'll always have access to experience something that satisfies your thirst for adventure. Convert your Clipper race experience into formal RYA qualifications with Hamble School of Yachting. Continue your racing with Clipper events such as the Fastnet, Round the Island race, or a slightly slower pace of life, high latitude sailing with Skirt Adventures, swapping your mountainous waves for mountainous icebergs. And of course, we have the Clipper China sailing academies, where we have a new fleet of Clipper 12 and Clipper 7s. And of course, I'm saving the best till last, our leading brand, the Clipper Race.
Fantastic. So lots to go out there, and clearly, once your Clipper race is over, lots of other things that you can come and do with us and train and go on other adventures as well. Laura, of course, this is going to be, is it your 6th Clipper Race edition now with the company? Yeah. So what message do you have for the race crew here and watching at home today?
Yes, 6 laps around the world, and it's an incredible thing to be a part of. So I guess my message to you is, look at the person next to you and all the incredible people in this room. You're all courageous, you're all ambitious, and you're about to become part of something very special. This community that you're joining is like no other thing you'll ever be part of in your life. They'll enable you to push yourself further than you ever thought possible. They will lift you up when you are down, and they'll be the only ones who truly understand what it's like out there. And you'll be bound uniquely by sharing this experience. Today, you become a team, you become family, and after quite a long wait for many of you, it's finally your time. Welcome to the Clipper Race. Let's hear it for the Clipper 23-24 race crew, supporters, skippers, AQPs, and our race partners who are here today. I hope you enjoy the day. Thank you very much. That's it from us. And Della will hand it back to you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Laura and Chris. I don't know about you, I feel quite emotional now. It's true though, you know, it is all part of, you'll have heard this already, you become part of what we call family. You're part of that Clipper Race family, and you are really bonded with each other because only you guys will know what you've been through on this huge adventure. So now the next person, it will be a face that's familiar to all of you. You will have seen his face on the bottom of your regular crew newsletters. You will have seen him on many of the crew webinars that you've no doubt been watching. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Clipper Race Director Mark Light.
Hello everybody, welcome. Okay, thank you very much, Della. People, welcome to our crew allocation. Are you excited? Yes. What? Are you really excited? Yes. Come on. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so I'm your Clipper Race Director. So I've worked for the Clipper Race since 2011. I skipped around the world in 2011-12 on a Clipper 68. Seems a long time ago now, that to me. And I know very, very well what you guys are going to experience and what's coming up for you all. So after my race, I stepped into the role of Deputy Race Director, and I did that for 2 race editions. And then about late 2016, I was very proud and privileged to take on the role of Clipper Race Director. And I was the race director for the 17-18 race and the last full race. So this is now my 3rd race coming up as race director and my 6th race overall. So lots of experience, and again, I know what's coming up for you guys. I'm very excited. Honestly, these crew allocation days, they come around, and you know what? The buzz that we have as staff putting on this day for you guys, and I can see the excitement and the kind of nervous anxiety of people coming into the auditorium. But the buzz that we get putting this day on, it's exactly the same when I was a skipper. It hasn't changed. And our Allocation days, just like the Clipper race, they get bigger and bigger. It's fantastic. I hope you're all really looking forward to it, and I hope you really have a great day with us as well. So as your Clipper race director, we're going to get to see a lot of each other over the course of the Clipper race. I guess you're going to get used to my incredibly poor sense of humour, but I'm sorry about that. I like it anyway, so it makes me laugh. And I hope you don't mind. So talking of the mind, the human mind is a pretty fascinating thing because it starts working from the very second we're all brought into this world, okay? And it doesn't stop working until you stand up on stage to present in front of 700 people. It's amazing. Okay, incredible. So well done to all of you for getting here. Congratulations. Today is really the start of your race campaigns where all the planning begins and you get to meet each other. You should all feel really, really proud of yourselves, and we're very proud of you guys for getting this far. That's to all Race Crew supporters here. That's to all Race Crew supporters watching at home. And also Race Crew, you guys have made it here. You are the people that make our Clipper race. So we're really proud of you all. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. Okay, I'm looking for the clicker here. I hope this is the one. Yes, there we go. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to start off talking about level 4 training. Okay, so level 4 is just around the corner. It's very, very fast approaching, and it's something that all of you guys will complete before racing with us. So let's have a little bit of a look in more detail. Okay, you can see the level 4 sort of nuts and bolts there, but essentially the aim of level 4 is to consolidate everything you've learned through levels 1, 2, and 3 already. But then we push it more and we carry out more skills and drills. There's some particular skills and drills that we will carry out. So in your level 4s, you'll be doing things like boat-to-boat transfers of stores, personnel. You'll be doing anchoring. You'll be doing towing drills alongside and 4.5 towing drills. All the extra little things that we know we do need to rely on in the Clipper race at some point. Whenever there's any sort of, if you have to go to the assistance of another boat or you have to transfer some spare parts or something like that, all these skills come in really useful. And also on level 4, you're going to be practicing racing. So you're going to get to race coastal and offshore, and you're going to go racing into the English Channel. You're going to be practicing race line starts. You've probably heard about our Le Mans start. That's our offshore remote start. So you'll be practicing those as well with us. And of course, massive emphasis on our safety drills, which we always do throughout our level 4 training. So I think one thing I can guarantee with level 4 training is you definitely will not spend any nights tied up in a marina. Oh, sorry. Okay, so you have 5 choices there of level 4. So I know you've all registered for your choice of level 4 there. These are the level 4 dates that we have pre-race. And you can see the dates there. They run through June and July. I think the final level, 4.5, actually finishes in early August. And I think if we've all done our jobs correctly, at the end of level 4 training, you'll all be excellently trained. You'll be a lot better prepared to take on the Clipper race. And hopefully, if we've done our bit, you'll be knackered at the end because it's hard work. Okay? But you will be itching to get back out on the water, ready to start racing. So we have 586 people booked onto level 4 training already. So that's just over 80%, 80%. So that means we've got about 19% of you still to book your level 4. And I know the training team have been working around the clock and working really, really hard to make sure. I think they've pretty much achieved with almost everybody in getting your first choice of level 4 date. So that's a really massive feat from our training team. So I think you'll get confirmation, obviously, of which week you're on. Of course, we couldn't set the exact week of level 4 until we got to this point, and you know exactly what team you're on. So because you go training with obviously your skipper and your teammates on a Clipper 70. So thank you very much to our training team. They worked extremely hard to get that sorted for us. Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about race management now, and some of the features of our Clipper race, the mechanics of the race, and how the race works, how you score points, and so on and so on. So, race committee, we have a Clipper race committee, and the race committee oversees all the regulations of the Clipper race, and ensures all the rules are, applied fairly, with integrity, and for the greater good of the Clipper race for all teams. And the regulations that make up the Clipper race, we split into the documents you see here. So first and foremost, we have our notice of race. So the notice of race, like any other race really, it describes the very high-level information about the Clipper race. So things like the race start date, location, the finish date, the eligibility of the fleet. So in other words, we're clearly a one-design fleet. So it's the Clipper 70s. They're the only boats that are eligible to enter our race, which is great. I can't take any more, to be fair. So the Clipper 70s, one design fleet, which makes our race super exciting anyway. And that's all the high-level sort of information that the notice of race contains. That will be issued in the next few weeks, actually. So it'll be generally early June, and that will be available to look at on the Crew Hub and our website. So the second major document to do with our race is the sailing instructions. You can see the SIs there, we call them. So they have a lot more detail in the overall Clipper race. Okay, so the SIs are things that contain, I've just lost my note, sorry. They contain things like how the race runs. So we talked about penalty points, bonus points, various features of the race. All the things that make up our Clipper race you'll find contained in the sailing instructions. Okay, so our race is actually run in conjunction. We obviously run with the racing rules of sailing. So the racing rules of sailing are adjusted every 4 years. So we're covered in the 2021 to 24 racing rules of sailing, and you'll be racing with the racing rules of sailing in daylight hours, and then during nighttime hours. So from sunset to sunrise, you'll be under the IRPCS, so that's the international, it's basically the collision regs. It's a bit of a mouthful, so I'm going to stick to collision regs, okay? So that's nighttime hours, and obviously racing rules of sailing by day. And then we move on to our course instructions. So our course instructions are the final document, and that basically gives the detailed information of every single race. So from race 1 right the way up until, whether it's race 15 or 16, that's where we get the very detailed information of start courses, start lines, finish lines, all the waypoints in between, reporting procedures throughout that race, and so on. So they're the main documents that make up the Clipper race, and that's how we regulate the race. Okay, so I mentioned the Clipper race committee. So just in case you're wondering who is on our Clipper race committee, so we have Sir Robin, of course. So Sir Robin's our non-executive director and president. Myself, so that's me, Mark Light, the race director. We have Justin Taylor. So Justin is a former race director and former Clipper race skipper. We have Simon Rowell. So Simon is a former assistant race director, a former race skipper, and he's also our current fleet meteorologist. So you'll get to hear from Simon when you're out sailing, sending the weather through to you. We have Janet Grosvenor. So Janet, very grateful to have Janet involved in our race committee, and she's the former RORC, so the Royal Ocean Racing Club race manager, highly experienced there. And of course our own race manager, which is Grace Kitching, and Grace acts as the secretary to the race committee. So there's an awful lot of experience up there in our race committee, both ocean racing experience and of course Clipper race experience. So I'm quite honoured actually to be a part of that race committee as well. And just remember, the race committee's decision is final. Okay, so our Clipper race, we run on a high point scoring system. So essentially, a lot of other sailing regattas might run on a low point scoring system. So if it's much shorter regattas, then you have, if you finish first, you might get 1 point. You finish second, you get 2 points, and so on. And it's generally the teams with the lowest amount of points win. But we operate on the high score sort of system, and that's mainly because we have a long race, lots and lots of points to add up, but also we have bonus points which we add on, which I'll talk about shortly. So let's take a little closer look on how that works. So it's quite straightforward, you can imagine. So you've got, you've got 11 points for first place, you've got 10 points for second place, 9 points for third place, all the way down until you get to 11th place. And if you finish 11th, that would earn your team 1 point, 1 finishing point. All races have equal points, so it doesn't matter on the duration of the race, it's still 11 points for first and 1 point for the final place yacht. And there's bonus points, of course, which I'll come on to in a second. So as we know, at the end of the overall Clipper race, you'll be racing for the Clipper Race trophy, and you'll get to hold the trophy aloft with a bit of luck. The other thing is with our Clipper race, if you finish one of the podium boats in each individual race, so the top 3 boats, you'll get race finishing pennants. You get a first pennant or a second or a third, and you'll get a big pennant for your yacht, so you can display it very proudly. And anybody that's raced on that particular race, you'll also get a little individual finishing pennant. Okay, so they're very sought after. And also as race crew, when you've finished your particular leg or legs with us, you'll get a Clipper Race Finishers Medal. Okay, so you'll get that after every leg, and that does mean that if you're around the world a circumnavigator and you have completed all 8 legs, you should end up with 8 medals. So that's quite cool. And just remember, when it comes to racing, and particularly the Clipper race, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And consistency and seamanship always wins. That's a fairly stable rule that we all stick to. Okay, so I'd like to briefly talk about some of our Clipper race features now. Some of the things that make up our race, which you may have heard of, I hope, but they might also be new to you. And this is how you can gain bonus points as teams. So let's have a little bit of an extra look in detail at some of these. So we have our scoring gates. So the scoring gate is a virtual gate that's put in on most races. The very, very short races may not have a scoring gate, but it's a virtual gate and it's an optional gate. So basically, the first 3 teams across that gate that they've declared to the race office will get 3 bonus points, 2 bonus points, and 1 bonus point for the top 3 across the gate. So once top 3 teams have crossed and they've declared to us within 3 hours of crossing, that's in the sailing instructions, then there's no more points available for that scoring gate. So it's quite a neat feature, and if I've positioned it correctly, I'll position it somewhere off the beaten track, a little bit off the direct run line, and what I'm trying to do here is tempt you into going for it. So if you're one of the leading teams maybe, when you're approaching the scoring gate, you've got to make a conscious decision. Do I divert a little bit off track and go for the scoring gate for bonus points, or do I actually, let's just go for the big win? And that kind of means other teams at the back may decide to go for the scoring gate and so on. So you get the picture. So there's one way you can win bonus points. The second way you can win bonus points is what we call our Ocean Sprint, which again I'm sure lots of you have heard about. So this is 2 points of either longitude or latitude, depending on the race, whether it's sort of a north to south or an east to west type race. And it is normally about 300 nautical miles long. So in duration, you're probably talking 24 to 48 hours to complete an ocean sprint, depending on the weather at the time. So clearly, if you're one of the front runners, when you get to that ocean sprint area, the weather is what it is, and you need to make a decision on how you want to cross that area. Do you go directly across, maybe east to west, or do you angle yourself so you're more towards the finish line? Okay, so there's a tactical decision there. And of course, other boats that are arriving behind, they could get very, very light weather or superb weather. So it's open for everybody. Again, the fastest 3 teams across the ocean sprint, 3 points, 2 points, and 1 bonus point respectively. And as every single team will cross the ocean sprint area, because it's a part of the race course, we have every single team will declare to us their start time and their finish time. And then what we will do is we'll publish those results. So you'll see, everybody will get to see the whole table of ocean sprint results, so we can see how well you did or didn't. Stealth mode. This is a brilliant feature in our Clipper race. Again, hopefully you've heard of this. So this is the chance to hide your team's position for 24 hours. And that's hide from the race viewer, hide from the rest of the fleet. So in longer races, there may be an opportunity to have a 48-hour stealth mode, but in the main, it's going to be a 24-hour situation. And what it means is if you've seen something in the weather forecast, which maybe allows you to, to make a sneaky little tactical decision and maybe, put something into your master plan, if you spotted it, you can arrange or declare to go into stealth mode with the race team, okay? Once you go to stealth mode, you'll be hidden for 24 hours. It's actually 23 hours and 59 minutes, but that's a technicality. You'll be hidden for pretty much 24 hours, and then it's really, really interesting to see where those teams pop up after 24 hours. Have they made the most of it? Have they made an absolute boo-boo and lost ground? Okay, it can happen. The good thing with stealth mode is it's really exciting for everybody. You are hidden from the rest of the fleet, clearly. You're also hidden on the race sphere, so race crew supporters, I'm sorry, you're going to lose your team on the race sphere for 24 hours. But fear not, in the race office, we know exactly where the boats are at all times. So behind the scenes, I think our Deputy Race Director, Dale, and I know Sir Robin and Simon Rowell, the fleet meteorologist, and myself, we can have a little giggle sometimes because we can see the boats making their moves, and we know almost if it's going to pan out or not, but it's part of the fun for us as well. So stealth mode, that's really cool. Okay, and we come on to the Joker. So the Joker, this is my personal favourite, actually. It's a nice feature, this one. You can play it once only as a team in the entire circumnavigation. And what the Joker means is that you declare it, basically, before you wish to play, and your race finishing points get doubled for that particular race. So you have to decide as a team when you want to play your Joker. So it might well be that you think, okay, the next leg coming up is predominantly a lighter wind leg. We've got great light wind skills on board. We've proven that in training and so on. Let's go for our Joker. It might be that you've got amazing downwind helming and you're very, very good downwind, and you think, okay, I've seen the forecast. That's our time to play the Joker. Heavy weather, that might be your preferred sailing. Or, of course, you might just feel lucky. You think, right, this is our leg. We're in good shape here. Things have gone well. Let's go for our Joker. It'll be declared to the race office in advance and in writing as well. And once that's declared, everybody knows you played your Joker, and hopefully you do very well on the race and you double your race finishing points. Any bonus points from scoring gates or ocean sprints, they're not affected, so they don't get doubled. And also penalty points, they don't get doubled either. Okay, talking of penalty points, obviously the flip side of bonus points, and some of you don't really want to talk about, but I am going to. It's a real thing, and it's to encourage seamanship across the fleet. So the allocation of penalty points, it will be fully detailed in our sailing instructions, which, remember, I've said will be available for you to view on the website and Crew Hub. So penalties can be points-based, or it could also be a time-based penalty, depending on what the situation is. Now, some of these are pretty straightforward, but some of them can be a little bit more complicated to work out, particularly if it's a time-based calculation, okay? So it might be that they are worked out during the race. If it's a long race, it's worked out and applied. If it's a time penalty, it could well be that it's worked out retrospectively applied, because we've needed to wait until the all results are in, or there's a situation when we might have to take a bit more time to work it out. So the penalties are always more severe than basically what's happened, and that is to further prevent further transgressions, basically. Penalty points can be applied for equipment damage or sail damage. Remember, this is all detailed in the sailing instructions. Please note, we will never, ever apply penalty points to safety equipment, okay? So if any safety equipment gets damaged for whatever reason, we'll replace the safety equipment. You don't get penalty points for that, clearly. You could also get penalty points for like an infringement of the race rules. So that could be that you've entered into an exclusion area, or it could be you've got outside assistance. You could get penalised on those sort of things. And the one that really is everybody's bugbear, you could get penalised for late submission of paperwork, race documentation. And that's basically because we're talking safety-related documentation, so safety checks, rig checks, and from a skipper's perspective, a pre-race declaration and a post-race declaration. So as an example, a post-race declaration has to be handed in to Grace, our race manager, within 1 hour of touching the dock. And if that doesn't take place, then unfortunately penalty points get applied. And that's just to help us run the Clipper race. So I'm sure you can understand it, but nobody wants to apply penalty points for late paperwork, but it's in the rules. Okay, and also, as I said previously, the race committee will always decide on any penalty, whether it's time-based or whether it's points-based, and the decision's final. Okay, there's a lot of experience in that race committee, and so we'll always make that final decision together. Seamanship and safety. So this is something that is really, really important to us all, and it should be all the way through any of your journey with us. So there must be a healthy, basically a healthy safety culture on board your boats. And one of the main things in that, which we all talk about, and if you've done your training you will know, is your clipping on. So everybody knows if you've done clipper race training, you clip on at 15 knots true wind as a minimum. You'll clip on at night, you'll clip on other situations when reefed, when the skipper says so. And there's no excuses to this. You know, our skips and our AQPs will lead from the front. You guys must follow. We don't want anybody, please, letting us down on that. It's so important. We want all crew, all of you guys, race crew on our boats, we need you to take responsibility for yourselves as well, okay? Of course, the skipper is ultimately responsible for the safety of the vessel and your safety, and working within our standard operating procedures and all our guidelines. But we need you to take responsibility for yourselves and each other. Help each other out, okay? And help the skipper out to maintain that level of safety culture. That's what we're after from you. Refresher training. So refresher training is something that you will do when you join your race. So after leg 1, if you join your race subsequently, or if you've left the race and rejoined, so you're doing a later leg, you'll always do a refresher training day, and that's mandatory, okay? We do get sometimes you get a few little moans when people have, you've done legs 1, 2, 3, and you're coming back for leg 7. Things may have changed in the interim, so we do need you to do a refresher training day before you go racing. So that will be done. It's a one-day thing in your stopover after your crew changeover date. So you don't have to get there any earlier. You're still going to have that within your stopover. And it's something that we have to be very strict on. So if you're not willing to do your refresher training day in port, or you're unable to do it, then I'm going to have to say that I'm not going to allow you to sail. It's that important to us. If you've taken any part in our Clipper race training, okay, levels 1, 2, and 3 so far, you'll be very, very familiar with our race crew assessment, the Clipper race crew assessment. That is something that you will also undertake when you join your boat in stopovers. So it's nothing to worry about. Most of you have seen it, I hope. But it is something that just prepare yourself. We don't want people doing their Clipper race training with us and then forgetting everything, and 4 months later, 5 months later, joining the boat and have forgotten how to tie the basic knots and so on and so on. So please make sure that you are aware that that's going to happen in a stopover, and you concentrate and put a bit of effort and dedication to that. Okay, MOB training. So MOB training is something that it's a requirement of our Clipper race, and it's something that we will always do. So we will do an MOB training drill as a minimum at the start of every single leg. So if we've had a crew changeover or we've got new people join the boat, we will always do a man overboard drill, and that's a tethered and an untethered man overboard drill. And it's so strict that we get the skippers to email us in the race office to tell us that it's been done, the time and date that it was done, and we've got a record that it was completed, okay? Even to the point where we will apply penalty points if that hasn't been done. In fact, I probably more than likely wouldn't allow the boat to sail on, okay? And the final thing, I think, is the personal AIS beacons. Brilliant bit of kit. We've used it on our Clipper race for the last 3 editions. Again, it'll be on this Clipper race also. So you'll have a AIS beacon, personal AIS beacon, which will be fitted to your life jacket. You will be shown exactly how to use it in advance, and it's very much up to us as teams and race crew and skippers to make sure they're fully maintained and you know exactly how to operate them should you need to, okay? But that's just something that, like our Clipper life jackets, we need to be aware of, we need to know how to use, and we need to maintain them as well, look after that safety kit. So I think the best possible thing you can go to sea with is a healthy dose of apprehension, but also a huge respect for nature and the elements. And just to coin and sum up one of Sir Robin's favourite phrases, and one that we all hold true today, so the essence of good seamanship is safety, safety, safety. Okay, there's no excuses to this. And for winning the Clipper race, of course, you're all going to become millionaires. Well, not really. But you will be able to hold aloft the very, very prestigious Clipper race trophy, have an incredible set of memories. So that's what it's all about for us. It's all about adventure, it's racing, it's challenge, it's excitement, and it's friendships. And that's why we're all here, I hope. So just remember, the richest people on earth are the ones with the experiences. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mark. Huge amount of information that I'm sure your minds are all boggling, but I'm sure it's a lot of things that you're already familiar about. And of course, a lot of that is also on the website as well.
Absolutely.
People want to go back, refresh their memories and stuff. So I think clearly, seeing the trophy there at the end, there's a lot of competitive people in the audience I know who will be focusing on coming first. But as you just made that message very clear, of course, safety always comes first, doesn't it?
Always.
We've only got a few months now before race start. Some crew will be joining at the beginning of the race. Some crew won't be joining until leg 8, so you've got a year to prepare. What are the key things, with the safety in mind in particular, what are the key things, key bits of advice you can give crew that they can keep doing at home whilst they're waiting to join their teams?
Yeah, sure. Good question. I think very, very simply, 2 things I'm going to say. The first thing you can all do is just have a think about your fitness. Try and concentrate on your fitness. We know that the fitter you are and the better shape you are to take on the Clipper race, the more you're going to enjoy it, the more you're going to be able to offer to the team. So have a little think about your own, fitness, and whatever you can do to improve levels of fitness prior to training, for sure, but prior to taking on the race, please give it some serious thought. And the other thing is quite simple. It's just make sure you've read your crew training manual, go over notes that you've, over things that you've learnt in training, and try and get out sailing whenever you can, whether it's on a Clipper race boat in training or any other boat. Get time on the water, read your crew trainer manual, and work on your health and your fitness.
Really good advice. Thank you very much, Mark. I know we'll see you later for crew allocation.
Thanks very much.
It's great to see you all glowing out there. I'm sure you all can't wait until your wristbands change colour. So, of course, as well as our race crew, our race partners also play a really important part of what makes the Clipper race the race that it is. It helps with the organisation of it all. They're very much involved. So here to talk about, who our race partners are, and also to talk about the different kinds of tiers of race partnership, please welcome back to the stage Managing Director Laura Ayres.
Race partners. So I'm going to start by saying thank you to our race partners who've been here today. Hopefully some of you guys got to have a look at the different stands here, and our race partners should be up here. So hi guys, thank you very much for coming down. Really great to have you here. They're a really important part of what the Clipper race is. And I guess I'm going to start by saying, why do we have race partners? It's quite simple. They add value. And they do this in various ways. So the first one, and it feels fairly obvious to me, but I'm not sure race crew really understand this until we tell you, but they keep the cost of the berths down. By having 2 revenue streams as a business, it means that by having revenue from partners, the cost to do the race seems lower. So that's always a win for you guys. Having engaged partners really enriches your experience. They make the race about more than just sailing, so they'll create opportunities for you guys as individuals. Our destination partners, so our host port partners, they make everyone's lives easier. Having the support of a marina, a city, or a government makes stopovers much more functional, which is the practical part of it, but also more enjoyable. They'll open you guys up to cultural experiences, tourism, and give you the opportunity to do something that you might not get to do if you just visited the city or destination as a tourist. Team partners also provide you with a bit of an identity, a brand, something that you can unite behind, and you'll find a bit more about that today. So, who are our partners? Now, after today, you will know your skipper, you'll know your AQP, you'll know the rest of your teammates, and the final piece of the puzzle is just around the corner, your team partner and the race route. Now, I recognize that perhaps there have not been as many announcements in the previous few months that you would have liked to have seen, and I guess we're acutely aware that you have lives to plan and that you really want to know where you're going, when you're going. I'm going to be honest, there is a level of, I guess, post-COVID sluggishness in the market at the minute, and it's definitely caused our conversations to take longer than we'd anticipated, and that's why things haven't been announced as early as we would have liked. However, that said, over the coming weeks, the Clipper Race will be announcing its remaining teams and host ports, and all conversations are either complete, and then we're working on announcement dates, or they're in the final stages of negotiations. And I'm sure a few of you will have noticed, or all of you will have noticed this week, there's been a flurry of announcements that we wanted to get out before today. And yeah, over the next few weeks, you will see more and more announcements coming out. Once your team partner is confirmed, there's lots to be done in terms of onboarding, so creating team kit, getting your boat branded, and getting you guys introduced to the partner. It's really important for us to make sure that you guys as race crew have a good and positive relationship with the race partner, because you're representing their brand and you will become ambassadors for them. The next few months is going to be extremely busy for everybody involved. For now, I just wanted to remind everyone with our current 23-24 race partner lineup. So, starting with our team partners, Zhuhai, Halong Bay, Vietnam, Our Isles and Oceans, Qingdao, who hopefully you'll have seen were announced this week for a 2-race partnership, and BCF. With our host port partners, you'll see familiar names with most of our team partners also being host ports. But a name that I don't think has been out there yet, so Fremantle are confirmed as another host port for this edition, so the start of leg 4. So a chance to have that selfie with a quokka on Rottnest Island, or sample some of the Western Australia's local craft beers and the regional wineries. It's a fantastic destination and a great place to recover from leg 3 and start your leg 4. Fleet partner Musto, the guys are here today, but we also have the Lighthouse store down at Gunwharf, so once you're down in Gunwharf looking at the boats later, pop into the store, say hello, and get to know the team there. Our charity partner, UNICEF, and I'm going to touch on them a little bit more later on. And of course, our official suppliers, who tend to be either a product or a service linked traditionally to the marine industry. Most of them were here today, so great to see. We have Spinlock, ATPI also announced this week, who'll be critical once the race route and dates are announced. Staylock, Time Zero, Coppercoat, Marlow Ropes, and Graham Robb Associates. So yeah, if we could just do a little ripple of applause for our race partners. I'm going to echo what Della said. Seeing you guys, even just when you applause, the wristbands look incredible. I'm really excited to see how this works later on. Just touching on a couple of more specific brand partner opportunities. We have brand ambassador opportunities. So this is offered usually by fleet partners and official suppliers, and it creates additional, I guess, unique content for our partners, and it's designed to bring a partnership to life. It's usually based on a crew member supplying content, so you might capture this once you're on board, so sending blogs, images, and you would send that directly for the partner, and in return you might get some product or some cash, or they might put you up in accommodation. So it's a real kind of two-way relationship and an opportunity for you to get involved directly with our partners. These roles are open to all crew members, and how to apply and all the info that you will need will be sent out on the Clipper Race Crew News and on the Crew Hub. So that will be coming shortly, and I expect to be launched in June. We also have our partner offers, so this is kind of your discounts and access to race partners. So just keep an eye out for these offers, and they, again, will be on the Crew Hub for you to access. There's also quite a few when you finish the race as well. So when you become into our alumni network, you get discounts with things like Scare Adventures, Clipper Events, Hamble School of Yachting. So you really are part of this network of opportunities. Stopovers and stopover structure. So Clipper Race stopovers are shaped by our host port partners. That's why I'm going to talk to you guys about how it works from a partner perspective and how crew and your race crew supporters can get involved in stopovers. Every stopover will be different. You will have some that are 200,000 people, all singing, all dancing, festival, bums on seats, economic impact. You will have others that are small and more subdued, and it could be because the partner's focusing more on a B2B business opportunity and trade and investment. So each stopover will give you a completely different experience. That said, they generally follow the same structure. So I'm going to talk to you through that structure now. So we have an arrival window, so you can see that here. I'm going to base this on a typical stopover, and this will kind of change based on how far you've been racing. But your arrival window is generally 1 day for every 1,000 miles of racing. At the end of your arrival window, usually on the last day, is prize giving. That's your opportunity to celebrate with all your crew for crossing the ocean that you have just conquered. And it's a great day. Usually race crew supporters and friends and family are all invited, and it's a great time to just recognize and reflect on what you've all achieved. Next, we have our prep day. Prep day, hopefully, if you've arrived early in the arrival window, you'll have done your deep clean, but if not, prep day is finishing off those deep cleans, any last-minute bits of maintenance and getting your boat ready for what is next, which is our activation window. Activation windows. So activation might be a new word to some people, but it's essentially the time in which our partners have access to the Clipper Race platform. So that could be you guys as crew members, the boats, or other events. So in that time, we could have some sailing days, we could have panel events, business events, tourism excursions, cultural classes. We've learned how to do calligraphy, make dim sum, we've climbed mountains, done all sorts of exciting things in the activation window. One thing to note is if there's activity on your boat or there's public open boats, then you'll be expected to support your team in those activations, and that's down to your skipper and your AQP to work out within your team how you distribute those fairly. Crew changeover generally is in the activation window, usually on the first day of the activation window. Sometimes it's a prep day. It all comes down to the length of the stopover and how long we have an activation window. And then usually the day after crew changeover is when you would do your refresher sailing. Then the pre-race prep day. This is all for that last-minute prep before you depart. Mainly things like fresh victualling and our race crew briefing. So Mark and the race office bring you all together in a room like this, and they will talk you through the next race, the conditions you can expect, weather reporting, and all the critical information that you as a crew will need to face and tackle your next adventure. Finally, race start day. An amazing day on the water in whatever location that we're in. Usually starts with a departure ceremony, a parade of sail, which looks incredible on the water, and then your race start. We try and create the opportunity for supporters to get on the water as well, to witness this and be involved. In terms of what information you need about stopovers in advance, once we know what ports we'll be heading to, all specific stopover information about events, discounts, where to stay, where the marina is going to be, all that kind of practical, critical information that you need for planning is sent out ahead of each arrival window. It will be sent to both crew and supporters, so everyone has the same information. We'll also send an email to the boat, so anyone on board also has access to that information. There's a stopover app. You will find when you get into port and you've been at sea for a few weeks that you are coming into port to 1 million emails. So using an app just means it's a quick, easy, direct way to access critical information. So a map with key locations, if there's discounts, the schedule for the stopover so everyone knows what's going on and when. So that's it on stopovers. there'll be lots more information coming on this as we get closer to the race start. Next up for me is a little bit about our charity partner. UNICEF have been the charity partner for the Clipper Race since 2015, so 8 years on, and thanks to our incredible race crew, our staff, skippers, and all our race crew supporters, we have raised over £1.1 million, which I just think is amazing. It's a partnership I'm really proud of, and I think to see some of the work that our fundraising supports and to hear from UNICEF themselves will really put into context why we fundraise and why it's so important to support those people who are less fortunate and children that are in danger. So therefore, to wrap it up from me, I'm going to introduce a short video and just want to say, enjoy the rest of the day. It's going to be amazing, and yeah, good luck, and I hope it goes well.
We are UNICEF, and with your donations, we're changing the world, one child at a time. We hydrate, vaccinate, and educate millions of children every year. We built the largest humanitarian warehouse system on Earth. Think Amazon, only way more important. We drive aid convoys through deserts, land cargo planes on dirt tracks. We span time zones and work in war zones. We advise governments, influence corporations, and lobby presidents, and all to give every child what they need most, more than a chance to survive, a chance to be great. Because we don't see children as weak. We see them as strong, strong enough to change the world.
Hello, and my name's Heather. I'm Head of Partnerships here at UNICEF. I'm so sorry not to be at your allocations meeting today. What an exciting moment ahead of the amazing race to come. I'm really proud that we are in partnership with Clipper once again. You might not know, but your fellow adventurers have raised over £1 million for children. £1 million. This is not just a race for us. This is a chance to transform children's lives around the globe. And they've never needed our help more than they do right now. So I feel very lucky to be being supported by you. I'm looking forward to working with you. And I'm absolutely sure that you are going to surpass all previous fundraising targets. From me, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you at Race Start.
So it goes without saying we're all really proud to be supporting UNICEF as we go around the world on the Clipper Race. Again, we all in the race team get involved. We do lots of activities throughout the course of the race within the office as well to raise money. And I know, again, with the competitive spirits that a lot of you quite often ends up being a bit of competition between the teams to see who can raise the most money for UNICEF. So I'm sure you will all throw your support behind this really great cause. So although I love our race partners, and I do love all of our race partners, for me, what I love most about the Clipper Race is being in the middle of an ocean, on the water, and actually racing our boats. So whether you're dodging the doldrums or taking on big storms in the middle of a huge ocean crossing, I'd like to invite our Deputy Race Director, Dale Smith, to now run you through all of the challenges that you're going to face on every leg of the race. Welcome, Dale.
Hello, everybody. So fantastic to see you all. Wow, there's a lot of you. And yeah, a really, really exciting day today for you all. I'm the Deputy Race Director. I also skippered the race in 2017-18 edition. And so I know well what you all face. I've sailed all of the miles. And you should all be incredibly, incredibly excited. You've got an incredible time ahead of you. So I'm a sailor, and I get to talk to you today about the thing I love most, and that's the sailing. And I'm going to give you a quick whistle-stop tour of the globe. I'll make it real quick. And as most of you know, the race consists of 8 legs. And I'm just going to take you through the legs and tell you what to expect. So let's get started. So leg one is called the Atlantic Trade Winds. And it's going to be 2 races with a European pit stop. a total of 6,250 nautical miles, and around about 35 days of racing fuel. So that's a long time. I'd say for probably most people in this room, or a lot of people in this room, this will be your first ocean crossing, so that's really exciting. Crossing the Atlantic, spending about 4 weeks at sea. And so after the emotion of saying goodbye to your friends and family, you're going to face a huge range of conditions. Initially fighting the tides off the UK and northern French coasts, and then crossing the notorious Bay of Biscay with its violent storms and heavy seas. I'm not meaning to scare you, by the way. And then down to the tactical trap of the Canary Islands, where hopefully you don't get stuck in a wind hole. And by then you should be barreling downwind in the northeast trades until you come up against the wall of the intertropical convergence zone, the doldrums. Typically, the doldrums sit just north of the equator, and they're really there to test your teams mentally and physically with unpredictable conditions, big wind holes, and squalls, and very, very high temperatures. Once you're in the doldrums, King Neptune should pay all of your boats a visit and turn all of the polywog crew into shellbacks. If you're not sure what that means or what you're in for, look it up. Okay? And then eventually you'll fight your way through the doldrums and break through into the easterly trade winds, initially quite hard on the wind, and getting freer and freer as the wind backs down the South American coastline, spinnakers up again, and you have a really exciting South American welcome at the end of that leg. Just backtracking slightly, and I'm just going to flick on here. We're going to talk about your passage through the doldrums in slightly more detail. The intertropical convergence zone, as it's technically known, it's an area of low pressure, so lots of rising air, and notorious for basically no wind, interspersed with high temperatures and violent thunderstorms. Historically, in the Clipper race, this area has trapped the fleet for immeasurable amounts of time, and in particularly affecting the 2013-14 edition of the race. And so we came up with a mechanism to get the fleet through this area without the delays of the 13-14 race, called the Doldrums Corridor. I'm just going to speak to you a little bit further on that so that you understand it, or try to understand it. Okay? In this example over here, you'll see a typical track of the fleet coming down from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, and a normal place to cross the equator is around 27 degrees west. You'll see that the doldrums usually sit around between 12 degrees north and 2 degrees north, and so this is where we initiate our doldrums corridor period. Now, 12 to 2 degrees north is a total of 10 degrees, and listen carefully here, because this is slightly complicated. Within those 10 degrees, you get to choose which 6 degrees you're going to use your motor for, okay? So I might have a little boat here. There we go. That boat there is chosen to use the first 6 degrees, or further down to use a later 6 degrees. Now, this is not a race under engine. If we just said motor for 6 degrees, what would you do? You'd put your throttle flat, and it would be a race under engine, which is crazy. So here's the second bit to it. You get to motor for 6 degrees, and you cannot exit your 6 degrees until 60 hours has elapsed. Okay? So if you go really fast, you'll just have to wait before you can exit your 6 degrees. And so it makes it really fair across the fleet, gets the fleet effectively through the doldrums, and actually is quite tactical as well, when you choose to start your 6 degrees, and you need to declare that to us at least 3 hours prior. I hope you understand that. If you don't, ask your skippers, and I hope they understand it. All right. So after your really good stop in South America, we'll be moving on to leg 2. The South Atlantic Challenge. So this is just one race, 3,600 miles, around 17 days, and this is one for the thrill seekers. After leaving the South American coastline behind, the fleet will be heading into the infamous South Atlantic. What can you expect? Storms, albatross, and some big tactical decisions. One of the big tactical decisions on this leg is how far south to go. If you go further south, you'll get stronger wind. If you stay further north, it's a slightly shorter route. And often on this leg, the podium positions are decided on that particular tactic. And so it's time for you to say farewell to the trade winds and head into the big conditions of the south. It's absolutely fantastic conditions for surfing downwind with speeds in excess of 20 knots, huge fountains of water pouring over the bow, and as a predominantly downwind leg, heavy use of your asymmetric spinnakers. But be careful, because at this stage of the game, if you badly damage a kite, you'll pay for it for the rest of the circumnavigation. And eventually, as you approach the point where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Indian Ocean, you will have successfully crossed the South Atlantic. Okay, so moving on to the next leg, the Roaring Forties. This again is one race, 4,800 nautical miles and around 25 days at sea. So after a parade of sail out of South Africa, the pressure is to immediately dive southwards. And it really is a race to see who the first one is to climb onto one of the eastbound depressions. And that really will be the boats that end up pulling away. And for many, this is the ocean of dreams. This leg offers some of the most exhilarating and testing conditions of the entire circumnavigation. As teams dip into the notoriously strong winds of the Roaring Forties, some good footage up there, and Roaring Forties lie between 40 degrees latitude and 50 degrees latitude. Ocean racing tactics will be in full flow as each team battles to stay on top of one of the fast-moving depressions, and boats will be going in excess of 25 knots at times. Despite this leg's grueling reputation, it's a place that's deeply respected by sailors. And it's one of the best places in the world to fully appreciate Mother Nature in her most raw and powerful glory. So, as Laura's mentioned, after a stop in Fremantle, you'll be moving on to leg 4, the Australian coast to coast. Again, just one race, 3,400 miles, about 19 days. This is an exhilarating hold on to your hats type of leg. It'll challenge you in every way. The constant changing conditions, there's no relaxing. It'll push you mentally, physically, and emotionally. Usually, again, an upwind start as you dive down into the Roaring Forties, and actually on this leg, you should reach your furthest south point of your entire circumnavigation around the bottom of Tasmania at around 44 degrees south. You can expect plummeting temperatures in one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. Again, if you stay further south, you're promised some stronger breeze, and if you take a shortcut, you can expect some lengthy wind holes in the Great Australian Bight. After Tasmania, you'll head north across the notorious Bass Strait. This is traditionally downwind, or you hope it's downwind, but be careful, because it's also directly against the East Australian current, which can run at 3 or 4 knots, creating absolutely massive seas. Watch out as well for a famous weather phenomenon on this coast, the southerly busters coming up behind you, so keep turning around and looking back. That's all I can say. And after a really, really exciting race, you'll be approaching the Barrier Reef with its stunning scenery, tropical sailing conditions as you head into East Australia. Okay, the next leg is an interesting one. It's the Asia-Pacific Challenge. It's up to 3 races, 5,800 miles, around 35 days of racing, and this leg offers the most varied conditions of the race. Teams will be tested in the extreme as they adapt to these changing sailing conditions. As you head north from Australia, the temperatures will soar as you approach the equator again, and the breeze will drop. There's a second doldrums corridor on this leg, and for those of you that have joined after leg 1, you'll see King Neptune there, or that might be Nano, but I think King Neptune makes another visit, and so much anticipated part of that leg again. And as you fight through past the doldrums, past the heat of the equator, you should hopefully connect into the northeast monsoon where the front boats will take off, and expect a hero's welcome and huge crowds in Vietnam and China, and experience the richness of the local culture there. So moving on to leg 6, the mighty Pacific, my favorite leg. Okay, this is 2 races. It's a total of 6,900 miles. That's massive, that. And about 37 days of racing. Few people dare to cross the North Pacific, the world's largest ocean, and for good reason. Nothing will leave you with a bigger sense of achievement. Overcoming its enormous waves and storms and freezing temperatures. This is referred to as the big one for good reason. At times, the closest you'll be is to the humans in the International Space Station. But before you get to the North Pacific proper, you'll have to fight through fog, fishing boats, and I hate to tell you, even snow, as you head down towards the tip of Japan, where the Black Stream or the Kirishiro Current runs east to west and might give you a helping hand. And then you're into the mighty North Pacific itself, where very cold temperatures, I feel like I've said cold temperatures a number of times in this. Big conditions and dark nights await. This leg is famous for huge Pacific rollers. As you surf down them at 30 knots, this is one of the legs where you'll be trying to slow down, I can assure you. And you'll really get to appreciate the magnificent scale of our planet and our place within it. Looking after your crew's morale is going to be a constant physical and mental challenge, and those who cross the Pacific can truly call themselves ocean racers. So, the next leg is the North American coast to coast. This is again 2 to 3 races, 6,200 miles, around 40 days of racing. And the first question once you leave the west coast of North America is whether you head inshore or offshore. Inshore, you get some help from the Californian current, which flows south, but offshore, again, potentially slightly more wind. And generally quite a fast trip down the coast of Mexico, as again, for the 3rd time, you approach the intertropical convergence zone. At this point, the race office, we put in a series of virtual finish lines. Yeah, that's leg 7. We put in a series of virtual finish lines, and based on the position of the doldrums, we elect one of those finish lines. So it'll be an offshore finish and a motor into Panama. Once you've transited the Panama Canal, which is one of the 7 wonders of the modern world, you will then have an upwind battle through the Caribbean, watching out for some wind holes as you go through the Windward Islands. And then as you head up towards the east coast of the US, you'll have quite variable conditions as depressions come off the continent. Often some really amazing thunderstorms and lightning as you sail up that coastline. Very, very exciting leg. Just backtracking slightly to the Panama Canal. Give you a little bit of detail on that. It's an absolute highlight of the race. It's an incredible feat of engineering if you've not been there. There's large caiman crocodiles which bask on the shores, so please none of you go swimming. And this is where you say goodbye to the Pacific Ocean and hello to the Atlantic again. It's pretty exciting stuff. If you look at the chart of the Panama Canal, interestingly, it's quite weird this, you actually travel from east to west going through the Panama Canal, not from west to east, as you might think. Okay, it's about 45 miles long, so it only takes about 12 hours, but there is a risk during your transit that they make you anchor there in the middle, for the night, so sometimes that can stall the fleet slightly, but it's not a long way through. So once you're through the Panama Canal, as we said, you're back into the Atlantic and heading up to the east coast of the US. All right, so the final leg, this is leg 8. It's 1 to 2 races long, around 3,900 nautical miles. And while this is the homeward bound leg, there's plenty of good racing still to be enjoyed. Traditionally in the Clipper race, even at this stage of the game, on this last leg, it's all to play for in terms of podium positions. And while this may be the end of your adventure, the memories of everything you've been through will definitely last forever. One of the things that's important on this leg is really to avoid complacency. You may feel like a really accomplished offshore racer by this stage, but you need to still be really strict on your safety protocols. And as the fleet goes up into the North Atlantic, you'll pass close to where the wreck of the Titanic is, and also near the Flemish Cap, the setting for the perfect storm. Who knows what happens? All right, so you need to keep a really good eye out for icebergs and growlers, and obviously us as a race office, we keep very close eye on where the ice limit is, and we put a limit in for you. Just before you get too complacent, the weather in the North Atlantic can be just as heavy as it can be in the North Pacific, and so you really need to be awake. But it can be some incredibly fun and fast downwind sailing. In fact, just in the last edition, the 1920 race, the fleet was so quick across the Atlantic that we had to put in a course extension because they were way early. And just remember that at this stage, there really still could be everything to race for. And after a potential Northern European stop, you may have a really fast sprint back to the finish line to complete the adventure of a lifetime. Teams may have played their joker cards on this leg, and so the podium positions are very often decided in the final sprint, which makes it really intense. And so as you arrive back to the UK, to a hero's welcome, you will have done part or all of a circumnavigation, and you will have experienced an amazing adventure, life-changing. And you could definitely call it the race of your life. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I haven't bored you. And if you see me around, ask me any questions, preferably sailing related, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Really exciting stuff. It kind of makes me want to do it again. I wonder if I get a year off. Anyone? Can I get a year off?
So, Della, if you did it again, what would be your leg of choice?
Oh, if I had to do a leg, it would probably be leg 4, actually, going down to that most southerly point in the Roaring Forties. I love the Roaring Forties, but also kind of getting the exciting and tactical racing up the East Coast. You know, you end on the east coast of Australia. Beer and Barbie, what's not to love, right?
Exactly. Thank you, Della.
Thanks very much, Dale. Thank you.
Cheers.
So it's really clear from that whatever leg or legs you're doing, you know, there's going to be some big challenges on the way. You know, challenges in terms of safety, challenges in keeping your boat going fast, challenges in dealing with all those different weather conditions. You are also going to make lifelong memories to take away from those challenges. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the sense of achievement, and you're really going to have those amazing memories to be with you for the rest of your life. You're also going to have the entire world watching your adventure and watching the reports as you go. So here to make sure that your race is documented, that all of your blogs and your stories are told to the world and captured on photo and video as well, is the job of our communications team. So please welcome on stage our Head of Communications, Carla Graves.
So it's so amazing to see so many of you here today, and a massive hello to everyone who's watching at home. So you'll see the communications team running around today. So we've got Danny, Sanena, and Tina running around in the background. So do come and say hello to us. We've got over 11 months to capture you on camera. If you can run, but you can't hide. That 11 months is a long time, so we will get you. The communications team is responsible for storytelling. We have over 700 crew, that's you guys, the story of the challenge ahead, and of course our race partners. So yeah, lots and lots of stories to tell. So how are we going to do this? So some of you might recognize yourself on there. Give us a shout if you see yourself up there on screen. I know we've got Diane here somewhere. So on this edition, we have the largest number of nations competing than ever before, 68. In fact, we have 48 nations represented in this team alone, in this room alone, and that's more than that completed the last edition, so that's amazing. That's 68 different countries we'll be trying to land coverage in, making sure that people back at home in your home nations know what you've set out to achieve. So here's a small selection of the coverage that we've got so far. We're going to be writing regular Meet the Crew features, which sit on our website. We'll come down to greet you after your levels of training, so to come and interview you. So it gets you out about 10 minutes of deep clean, so if that's an incentive. And you can also get in touch with us through email or pop into the race office too. So some of the ways that we're going to be following your adventure. So one of them is Facebook Live. I'm not sure if any of you have watched it before when on the other race, when the boats come in, we're there on Facebook Live. It's an opportunity for your supporters to send you some messages of welcome. Your fellow race crew are sitting at home waiting for their leg. It's a time for you to kind of get in touch, to congratulate or commiserate on your team's success as they come into port. There's a big incentive to share your content and an onboard experience with us, and that is the media pennant. After each leg of the race, we get all of the content back from the boats, and it be a blog, a photo, or a video, and we decide which one is the best one, and then they win the media prize. And who wants the podium finish when you can fly this beautiful pennant on your flag halyard? So past winners of the accolade. So this is Maddie. Dale's already stolen my joke, but this shot was called Boobies on the Bow. Yeah, fantastic photo of Maddie on Go to Bermuda on leg 7. And then this was shot on leg 6.
So this morning, Ian spied an opportunity, and we turned right to cross the Pacific proper. The sea state is a thing what's officially called absolute roughtings. It's 50 knots across the bow, 50 knots, and I'm still in Crocs. Everyone's loving it. Seattle, here we come. Breeze on!
So it's an amazing video. So that was shot as they just, we asked for footage. We knew that the big weather system was coming in. So I know you have lots of things to face without putting a camera out there. But yeah, you can see what we can achieve. Really kind of simple video, but it really takes you to that moment. But the written word is just as important. So every other day, the skippers are going to be sending back blogs, talking about tactical success or not, life on board, conditions faced. These are going to be posted on the skipper pages on our website. And also the AQPs have an opportunity to do the blogs every now and again, which is great. Hear another voice. Crew are also able to send back occasional blogs, again, shared on our website. Well, your main focus should be racing and also resting. We'd love to hear back from each team. We'll also be sending in specific requests for key moments like equator crossings, crossing the date line, things like that. We want to hear about your experience. Okay. So you have two types of media on board. First of all, you have your media crew. This is the person coordinating all of the content for us. It's our comms lifeline on board. Each team will have a media crew member on each leg assigned to coordinate content from your team. The role isn't about capturing all of the content themselves, it's about coordinating it from the team. So we really want them to encourage you all to not only take content, but share it on the media laptop. If we haven't got it, if you haven't shared it with us, we can't share it on our channels. If you have any questions about the role, it will be discussed with your skipper today. And also just come and find one of the comms team if you have any questions. It will also have 2 onboard reporters. They move boats every race. They're professional photographers and videographers. So you've seen some of the footage captured on previous editions. It's captured by the OBR, onboard reporter. They're going to be capturing conditions you've endured, the reasons for racing, and what life is like on board. So that's enough from me. I'm going to end with a short video which kind of hopefully nicely leads up to the real exciting part of this, which is the crew allocation.
The Clipper race is amazing because of the people. It's the people that make it.
The experience in itself, you've got to be a special kind of person to take on the challenge.
Your world is revolving around those 70 feet of boat.
I think it's impossible to do the race and not change on some level.
The reasons are still why Robin set up the race in the first place. It's to give everyday people the opportunity to do something totally out of the ordinary.
I don't think there's anything that compares to it in normal life. It's just your boat that's important, and things from your day-to-day life fall by the wayside.
I started on the Clipper race as crew in the 17-18 race. The Clipper race has entirely changed my life.
Just wait for it all out.
This will be my 4th race, and I've seen around 3,000 race crew come through our doors.
Part of my role is, and why I like doing it, is I get to enable people to have the experience that I had as a crew member.
It is incredible that quite a number of staff here are people that have come through the Clipper race themselves, and I think that's part and parcel of the passion that we've all developed.
I think it's one of the most inspiring parts of our jobs, is seeing the learning trajectory is incredible.
When our crew are out, racing across the world's oceans, it's very special to us. Certainly for me as a former race skipper, but the whole Clipper race management team, we're kind of sailing every single moment with them.
They may have come to the race as many individuals, but they very quickly realised that to race competitively, they need to come together as a team.
There's nothing that you can do on board these boats that you can do on your own. It's one of these genuine team experiences where it's about the sum of all of the parts.
Regardless of which team you're on, you have a shared experience. You've crossed the same ocean, you've been through the same conditions, whether you were part of one team or another.
We're all part of the same adventure. We all get to face that ocean.
Although they're part of their individual race teams and their skippers and their boats, they're actually part of a much, much bigger Clipper race family, a much bigger race team. And that's really, really special to see.
You get to the end of the leg and you all line up along the side of the boat to have your photo taken. But you look down the line and you look at this group of people who've all shared this incredible experience with you. And it's just like nothing else. It really is like absolutely nothing else. Nobody can take that away from you. What you've achieved together, that is yours.
I feel quite emotional now. That's really a film that really sums up the feeling of the Clipper race family that we all refer to. We are bonded by those shared adventures, those highs and lows, that massive sense of achievement of racing across an ocean. It's a fantastic thing. It really is a unique opportunity, and were it not for a certain person, something that none of us would be able to do. So the man, of course, who set this up, were it not for his original epic adventure of sailing single-handed around the world in 1969, and his determination to make that kind of experience available to more of us, none of us would be here today. So please welcome on stage founder of the Clipper Race and president of Clipper Ventures, Sir Robin Knox-Johnson.
afternoon, everyone, and lovely to see so many of you here. Welcome. And I just want to start by congratulating you on having the guts and determination to help share my vision. The extreme sports should be available to anyone who's got that determination and enthusiasm. You're taking on something very, very special. But you know, why in life do something easy? Where's the satisfaction? The satisfaction comes when you achieve something that's really hard and difficult. You don't have to shout about it, you don't have to boast, but you know inside yourselves you've done something special. You will find changes. Your family and friends will notice a change when you get back. We've seen it time after time, that greater self-confidence. 18-year-old who's now, in maturity terms, 25. The senior executive who comes back standing a bit taller saying, I've done something special with my life. But it is noticeable and it works every time. Last chance, Ray, to say to you, only 3 months to go. Think about it. Start mentally preparing yourself. You've heard Mark talk about the fitness. I agree with that. He knows that perfectly well. But start thinking about what happens on the boat. Go to bed thinking of the evolutions. Perhaps spend a week noting down everything you use in your daily life. Because once you get out there in the middle of the ocean, if you've forgotten your toothpaste, tough. There ain't no shops out there. Finally, I just want to say to you, this, for many of you, perhaps will be one of the most exciting things you've ever done. As I say, it will change you. I want you to come back and at the end of it say, do you know, that's the best thing I've done with my life. But I then want to hear you say, so far, because then I know we've converted you. Well, now, let's get to what you've come here for, crew allocation.
So here we are. This is the moment you've all been waiting for, crew allocation today. So you're very shortly going to find out who your skipper is. You're going to meet your AQP for the first time, and you're going to discover exactly who you're going to be racing with, your teammates. So firstly, I just want to recap on exactly how this works for you. So all of you here in the auditorium, okay, you've all got a wristband on, correct? Great, okay. So LED wristband. So for the crew allocation, once we've invited each skipper up to the stage, skipper is going to invite their AQP to the stage. There'll be a couple of questions. It'll be one team at a time. And then after the questions, a little bit of chat, then we're going to have a 10-second countdown to the crew allocation. So everybody that is on that particular team, your wristband will light up to the corresponding colour. I hope. Otherwise, I've got some filling to do. Okay, and once your wristband lights up to the corresponding colour for that team, then we want you to stand up, wave your arm in the air, shout, cheer, whatever you want to do, so we can see who is on that particular team, okay? And for everybody else in the auditorium, in the audience here, please, you make as much noise as you want. Cheering, applauding, whatever you want to do. So, for all our race crew watching at home, and for all of you here, you will receive a welcome email from the Clipper Race and from your skipper. And you'll also see your name appear on the big screen. So once your team is allocated, you will see your name on that big screen. So please check your email inboxes at home watching, and you'll get this email probably within an hour of the allocation. Hopefully a lot sooner, but it should be within the hour. Okay, so what we're going to say is the first and primary way of informing you which team you're on is your welcome email from the Clipper Race and your skipper. The second method is your name on the big screen. And the third method for everybody in the auditorium, it's your wristband lighting up, okay? Is that all clear? Yes. Brilliant. Okay. So please make sure your wristbands, they should have all lit up already, so you should all have them on. You should have removed the tab from your wristband, okay? And now your wristbands should all be off. Mine too, great. They should all be off. Okay, but before we go on, there has been an unbelievable amount of work that has gone into this crew allocation and actually allocating the crew to the teams and setting up this day. And I just want to say, while I've got the chance, we've got an amazing Clipper Race team, and they've all worked really, really hard and seriously round the clock to make this happen. I'm very proud to be a small part of that team. So please, let's have a big round of applause for the Clipper Race staff. Okay, and finally, I would just like to wish our brilliant skippers and AQPs the very best of luck. They are backstage now, waiting, raring to go. So to our skips and AQPs, you are a fantastic group, and I know you guys are going to smash it today, so very, very best of luck to you guys. All right, so I reckon we should delay no more. What do you think? Yeah. All wristbands off. Should we get on with it? All right, should we meet the skippers? Yes. Okay, so first skipper to the stage, I would like to invite Greg Hunt to the stage. Come on, Greg. Greg Hunt. Congratulations, Greg. Okay, so you're the first skipper out. So it's a massive day today. Just tell us, how are you feeling today?
Today, well, it's been a big build-up, so a bit nervous for today, but
huge day, though, right?
A lot of love you out there. But feeling good.
Okay, so just tell me, what sort of things are you going to talk to your team about? So you got your breakout session. Just very, very briefly, what sort of things are you going to cover to do with your boat in your breakout session?
We'll be mostly getting to know each other, for starters.
Yep. Intros,
names, where we're from, and then we'll start going into more depth with the boats and watch systems and all the rest.
So a little bit about how you're going to run the boat, watch systems, how things are going to operate, and so on and so forth.
Yes, that's correct.
Excellent. Okay, I think it's time that we met your AQP, okay? So I'll let you introduce the AQP.
All right, so let's welcome Steve Westwood.
Steve Westwood. Well done.
All right.
Okay, so this is our first pairing, freshly announced today. Steve Westwood, Greg Hunt. I guess you want to find out who's on Team Greg, do you? All right, so I think we're going to have a 10-second countdown. And just remember, after 10, your wristbands, I hope, will light up. If you are on Team Greg, your wristband should light up blue. So be ready, stand up and show us. Let's have 10 seconds, please. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go! Come on, guys, stand up. Who's on Team Greg? There we go. So that is Team Greg. Thank goodness for that. The wristbands worked. Very worried. So Team Greg, we're going to go through the rest of the allocation. Congratulations to Team Greg. Congratulations, Greg Hunt and Steve Westwood. Thank you very much. Well done, guys. Okay, so that's Team Greg. You blue wristbands there. You know which team you're on, and you're going to meet each other much later on. All right, we're going to move on now. So I'm going to invite the next skipper to take the stage. So the next skipper, I'd like to welcome Max Rivers. Well done, Max. Okay, Max, so you've got lots of experience in professional sailing. What has made you put yourself forward for the clipper race? What's made you apply this time around?
I think it's the perfect time for me in my career. It's a fantastic experience. It's one I enjoyed in the last race and just wanted to continue. I was in a good place and wanted to push the boat. I knew that I was well positioned to lead a good team, which I'm sure I'm going to get today. And I'm in a good place to really make a difference and hopefully have a successful and competitive race.
Perfect. And what first got you into sailing?
I'd probably say a sailing holiday gone wrong. So I was on holiday, enjoyed sailing as we all do, and then it just sort of kept going out of hand from there, and bigger boats, faster boats, and now we're here going the whole way around the world.
Okay, brilliant. So you've learned a lot.
A lot.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to let you introduce your AQP.
Perfect. Well, today I have the delight of announcing that my AQP will be Thomas Newson.
Well done, Thomas. Well done. Okay, Tom, what's it going to be like sailing with this fine fella here?
Hi, it's a great privilege. Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning from his experiences and seeing how the team interacts with him.
Great stuff. Super formidable team, I think you two will be. Okay, so I think we should find out who is on Team Max. What do you think? All right, so we're going to have a 10-second countdown. Your wristbands will light up navy blue. Team Max. Yay! There's your team. Okay, Max, so you can see your team.
This is the winning team right here. You can see them, Mark.
Okay, so Max tells us this is the winning team.
These are the best of the best out there, you can tell.
Excellent. So guys, super exciting for you all. Your wristbands should stay lit. Let's give it up, please, for Max Rivers and Tom Newsom. Thank you, guys. Okay, we have Team Max there. So you remember, you'll see your names up on the screen there. Your wristbands have lit up, and you will be getting the email from the Clipper Race and from your skipper, the welcome there. And that's to everybody at you at home. Please check your inboxes. And this is Team Max. It's exciting, this, isn't it? The wristbands work. I love it. Excellent news. All right. Okay, so the next skipper I'm going to invite to the stage. Absolute no stranger to our Clipper Race. Highly experienced. Please welcome on stage David Hartson. Okay, David, what message have you got for all these guys in the audience today?
I hope you're as excited as I am. The message I'd say, enjoy it. When you get on the race, give it 100% from the moment you join your boat to the moment you get off, because some of you have waited a number of years for the race to start. But when you get on, whether it's a 17-day leg or 37-day leg, it will go like that. And remember, you are definitely all going to achieve something remarkable. So well done.
Yeah, well said. Well said. And so we've just seen Greg and Max there. Question to you. Are you going to beat them too?
Of course.
Of course. Well done. All right, great. Okay, I'm going to allow you now to please introduce your AQP.
So to use their words, I am absolutely super excited to reintroduce to you Maisie Bristow.
Well done, Maisie. Okay, Maisie, very quick question to you. What's it going to be like sailing with this gentleman here?
Well, in the past I've heard a lot of good things about sailing with this guy, his team bonding, keeping everyone on board, and also the food. I've heard about Sunday mornings. Always got to have a nice Sunday morning breakfast.
Brilliant. So Team David, you're going to eat well, whoever's on Team David. Okay, shall we find out who's on Team David? All right, let's have a countdown. Your wristbands on this one will light up yellow. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Team David, yellows. Congratulations. Team David, here is your team. David and Maisie. So all of you guys, your names are coming up. You are going to eat so well. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question now, David. If you're going to eat so well, what's your favourite meal on a boat?
Oh, it's got to be chili con carne.
Oh, chili con carne. Okay, brilliant. Okay, please, what sort of things are you going to cover in your breakout room with your team today?
Well, I'm not going to tell you all, clearly, because the conversation starts now. But basically, it's about the hard work that we're going to face, and the only way that we can achieve that is by using the team to solve the problem.
Okay, highly experienced at building teams, David, as well. So everybody there, your yellow wristbands, welcome to Team David. You've got David Artson and Maisie Bristow. Well done, everybody. Thank you, guys. Okay, we move on. So fourth skipper, going to invite to the stage. This is somebody, again, highly experienced within the Clipper race. Please welcome Ineke van der Weyden. Okay, Innie, please tell me, what sort of things are you looking for in your team members?
A lot of enthusiasm, hard work, fun, flexibility to just kind of get along with everybody and just, getting stuck in, really.
Okay, and what's the food going to be like on your boat?
I hope amazing.
Amazing, brilliant. All right, so without further ado, please introduce us to your AQP, Innie.
I am very, very pleased to announce my AQP as Joss Creswell.
Welcome, Joss. Okay. I've heard lots of conversations between these two, and they are going to be some team, I can tell you. All right, so let's find out. I think so the next team, if your wristbands light up cyan, light blue, so you are on Team Ineke. 10, 9. Hooray! Look at them all. It's working. All over the room. Team Ineke, there you go. Congratulations, everybody. So you're light blue, your wristbands, you're on this formidable team. I have another question for you. So, Clipper Ventures, we are always wanting to encourage more women to get into sailing. So as a highly experienced skipper yourself, what message would you have for other girls, other females trying to enter the sport of sailing?
It's really simple. Don't hold yourself back. There's no reason that you couldn't do or stand here where I'm standing in a couple of years if you just put your mind to it. It's an industry where there's pockets where people are still difficult about it, but most places it's getting a lot better, and Clipper is a fantastic environment to be doing this in. So.
Super, well said. Okay guys, give it up for Team Illica. Thank you guys, well done. Thank you very much. All right, so next to the stage, I would like to invite somebody else very well known to our Clipper race, Fernando Antia Bernardes, otherwise known as Nano! Yeah, good. Good. Okay, so Nano, you have now completed about 10 weeks training with us at the Clipper race since becoming our skipper. What sort of things have you been doing to prepare yourself up until this point?
Well, been really hard weeks of very hard trainings. We've been hoisting, dropping, head sail changing, a lot of trimming, of course, as you guys know. So it's very important to prepare ourselves for this next commitment, as crossing oceans is not an easy task.
And of course, there's on top of the sailing stuff, we've been doing a lot of shore-based stuff, race documentation and the media training. We've got medical training coming up, engineering training, and so on. So lots and lots. I don't think we're that hard on you, are we?
No, you
Not
guys
yet.
are great bosses.
Great bosses, brilliant. Excellent, I'll pay you later, no problem. All right, so please, would you introduce us to your AQP, Nano?
I'd love to. So my AQP is Angus Whitehead.
So, Angus, please tell me, what sort of location or sailing area or leg are you most looking forward to at the Clipper race?
Yeah, I've got to say, I think the Roaring Forties are definitely tantalising. I'm very excited for that.
Tantalising, there's a word.
Yeah, I was told not to go for big words. But yeah, so I think that's really exciting.
Brilliant, okay. Should we find out who's on Team Nano? Okay, wristbands will light up purple on this one. So let's give it the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Team Nano! And there is your team coming up, Team Nano. Have a look, here you go. Here's your people coming up. Amazing. Do you know, Team Nano, there seem to be loads of you there. Maybe it's just everybody selling that, I don't know. Okay, so one more question. What first got you into sailing, Nano?
So my passion to the sea, I'm a surfer, and sailing is like surfing in teams. And I am a person guy, and I love teams. So surfing with you.
Surfing with you, lovely. Okay guys, please give it up for Team Nano. Okay, this is going well so far. These wristbands are brilliant, aren't they? I love them. Thank goodness. Okay, next skipper I'd like to invite to the stage. Please give a really warm welcome to Daniel Bodie. Okay, Dan, this might be a tricky question for you to answer. What tactics do you have? Can you share anything ahead of your team announcement? What tactics? Don't tell them. Any tactics? I know what he's going to say, sail the boat fast.
Yeah, sail the boat faster than everyone else is the main tactic. But
Right.
beyond that, we can't go and reveal trade secrets until the race has happened.
I understand. And he wouldn't, would he? Okay, I thought I'd ask him anyway. Okay, Dan, please, will you invite your AQP to the stage.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome my AQP, Laura Hampton, to join me on the stage.
Welcome. Well done. Okay, I'm sure there's, given Dan's terrific Clipper race experience and the skills that Laura brings to the team, there's going to be a lot of you that will want to be on this team. Your wristbands are going to light up green in 10, 9. Excited? Team done! You got lots of them as well. So that's fantastic. You know what? Looking at these wristbands light up all around the auditorium is something special from here. And I hope you guys are finding it special. It's a great way to announce teams. Okay, so Laura, what style of leadership do you have? And what do you think will be your team ethos with Dan?
So, good question.
You're welcome.
My style of leadership, I think the Clipper race is all about teamwork, and I think being both a part of the team, but also having that expertise to lead as well. So, really leading and being part of the team, but also leading at that same time.
Brilliant. Okay, it's great to hear from them both, and you guys will all see. Anybody from Team Dan, you're going to see in about an hour's time after the mask crew photo. Please, one more time, give it up for Team Dan. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we're getting through this. This is great. I love it. Next skipper I'm going to invite to the stage. It keeps coming back, this fella. But that means he is highly, highly experienced. Please welcome Mike Miller. So Mike, please tell us, you've done an awful lot of Clipper race sailing. Please tell us what part of the Clipper race you're most looking forward to and why.
To be honest, since I started the Clipper race, I became a bit of a twitcher. So, to be honest, my favourite part is going to be talking to the boobies as they go down the south coast, the west coast of Mexico.
Amazing, brilliant. Twitcher. Okay, on that note, please introduce to everybody your AQP.
Hi, I'm really pleased to be joined on this amazing adventure by Lottie Wade.
Welcome, Lottie. Well done, that's Charlotte Wade, known as Lottie. Okay, shall we find out who's in Team Mike? So your wristbands will light up a rather glorious mint colour, mint green. Okay, so let's find out in 10, 9, 8. You guys, this is your team coming up. Here we go, Team Mike. Brilliant. Okay, guys, and don't forget, everybody watching at home, you should see your name up on the big screen, and look out for those emails as well. I swear, these teams are getting bigger as we're going on. I had to check mine then and make sure I wasn't on his team as well. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. I'm going to ask you one quick question, Mike. Who were your sailing heroes when you first started sailing?
My principal sailing hero was obviously Sir Robin, who is an inspiration to us all.
Yep.
But more recently, actually, the two skippers that I sailed with, Wendy Tuck and Ian Wigan, who taught me so much
Brilliant.
about building Clipper teams.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say me and Dale, but there you go. All right. Okay, guys, please give it up for Team Mike. Hello, Mike. Thank you very much. Okay, we still have 4 skippers to go, 4 teams to make sure we've allocated correctly. So the next skipper to the stage, again, somebody that has circumnavigated as an AQP, which means he has fantastic experience. Please welcome to the stage skipper, James Finney. Okay, James, so you've been around the world once, so you've ticked that box.
Yep.
Why are you back?
It's a very good question, actually, Mark. I am wondering too. No, it's I'd seen how it was supposed to be done. Lots of different skippers, lots of experience, and I just thought that the challenge was just irresistible, really. I had to go and see if I could do it myself, and I'm very confident I can.
I would agree. I think you are super equipped to be able to make a really successful clipper race, given what you've learned. So I agree with that. That's great. Okay, would you like to introduce your AQP to the audience?
Absolutely.
Go
So
for
it's
it.
my great pleasure to introduce my AQP, Michael Davies.
Mike, welcome. Okay, that's Mike Davis, James Finney. They are going to be some strong pairing on the water, I think. All right, shall we find out who's in Team James? Your wristbands are going to light up magenta on this one. Lovely colour, magenta. Let's find out. 10, 9, 8, 7. Nervous? Team James. And James and Mike, you can see your team names on the screen behind. Okay, what do you think? You've had your team announced? Happy?
Very.
Good. Okay, what sort of things are you going to be talking to your new team about later on this afternoon?
No comment? No, it's no, it's going to be how we're going to run the boat, what we want to be as a team, our sort of ethics and values, how the sort of systems are going to work, and how we're going to manage ourselves in our race around the world.
That's brilliant. And also, you've got a new AQP here. You've been in this situation. A little bit of advice from Mike as an AQP on this clipper race.
Oh, just take it all in your stride and just enjoy it, Mike. It's a hell of a ride and it's so much fun.
And listen to what I say as skipper, right?
Yeah, well.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Well done to you two. Give it up for Team James. All right, we now have a new skipper to the clipper race, highly experienced. Dale and I, when we did the skipper selections and the skipper trials, very, very impressed by this gentleman. Please welcome to the stage, Ryan Gibson. Okay, Ryan. So, new to the clipper race. What attracted you to the clipper race?
Just basically an opportunity to race around the world on a, for a good company with professional ocean racing boats. So it's a really big opportunity, and for for something like this, it's quite unique. So to get a chance to even try out was quite special.
I agree. Yeah, you had a great trial, which is why you're here, like everybody else. Very quick question. We saw Greg Hunt earlier, so fellow countryman. You know Greg very well. Are you going to beat him?
Definitely.
Of course he's going to say that. Of course he's going to say that. Okay, shall we find out who your AQP is? All right, I'll let you do the honours.
I'd like to introduce Charlie Warhurst.
Charlie, well done. I think it's very special today, seeing Skip and AQP up on the stage and knowing the pairing for the first time. It's pretty cool, that. All right, we should find out who is in Team Ryan. So your wristbands are going to light up silver on this one. Okay? Doesn't mean to say you're second, but you'll light up silver. So let's find out in 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Team Ryan! Do you know, that is very impressive seeing that. So you guys, you've got a very, very smart pairing here. So Charlie, what are you looking for? Well, this is for Ryan and Charlie, actually. What are you both looking for from your Clipper race crew members, your team members? What sort of attributes do you think you're looking for? Either of you.
Just a crew that gets along well with each other and is happy to push each other to go around the world pretty quick, I think. Yeah?
Yeah, and hopefully hardworking.
Yes, hardworking. Not silver, huh? Not second. No. Always first. Okay, guys, so that is Team Ryan. Congratulations to you guys. Please give it up. Thank you, guys. Well done. Okay, we only have 2 skippers left. So the 10th skipper I would like to invite to the stage, somebody that's impressed us all at the Clipper race, and not only sailing off the water, on the water, a very impressive lady. Please welcome Hannah Brewis. So, Hannah, please tell me what got you into sailing in the first place. You've been sailing pretty much all your life. What started it off for you?
It started when I was very small, and we went on some family holidays, and I found myself in a little dinghy, and I just kept doing it, and my parents realised it was a good tiring activity for me, so they made me do it more, and then, really committed to that.
So basically, you're looking to tire your crew out nice and quick with a lot of hard work.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. All right. I think it's time that you also introduced your AQP to the audience.
Yes, I'd love to. It gives me great pleasure to introduce my AQP as Cameron McCracken.
Cameron, welcome. Okay, Cameron's also very experienced in the Clipper race. You've done many, many miles on the Clipper 70s. You like the boats, Cam?
Love them.
Love the boats. Excellent. Okay, should we find out who is on Team Hannah? So your wristbands on this one, people. If you're in Team Hannah, you will light up orange. So here we go, Team Hannah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Team Hannah, orange. That's cool, isn't it?
They don't look too sad.
That is super cool. So Team Hannah, I can honestly say there was massive shrieks of excitement there when the wristbands turned orange. So how do you feel, Hannah?
Very excited. I've been waiting for this for weeks, so I was so excited to know it. So seeing excited faces is amazing.
I think you guys are going to be a very fast team on the water as well, given your experience and your talent. Okay, what is your first initial message to your new team?
Just get excited. You know, this is an amazing experience, hard work and working together, and it will be amazing. And I'm so excited to share it with you as well.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much and welcome, Team Hannah. Thank you. All right, so last, definitely not least, Okay, you might think you already know, maybe. Okay, so it's the 11th team, somebody highly experienced. I've known this skipper for a long time, already skippered around the world, lots to offer. Please welcome Josh Stickland. So Josh, it's the same question that I asked previously, actually, to someone else. Why are you back? You've skipped around the world. You've raced around the planet. Why are you here now?
Good afternoon, everyone. So why am I back? So during the interior, between the races, I just miss racing. I miss pushing a boat. I miss pushing a crew to maximum of their abilities, and it's really good fun.
It's infectious, isn't it? Okay, when you've raced on the Clipper 70, you know what he's talking about. So I agree with that. Okay, how about we introduce your AQP?
Okay, again, ladies and gentlemen, it brings me great pleasure to introduce to you Ella Hebron.
Welcome, Ella. Well done. So, Ella Hebron, Josh Stickland. I think they are going to be super smart on the water. I know you're going to be fast. I'm not building you up too much. All teams are going to be formidable. I've got a sneaky feeling you guys have got a few tricks up your sleeve. Okay?
Top 10. Top 10.
Top 10. All right, great. Very good. Top 10. Okay, so without further ado, the last team allocated. Your wristbands, if you're in Team Josh, should light up lime green, in 10, 9, 8. Team Josh. Very good. Okay, and you can see your new team members on the screen behind, and everybody watching at home, if you're on Team Josh, please keep your eye on the screen there, and you'll see your name scrolling. So I think that concludes our allocation. We've only got 11 skippers, right, Josh? Okay, so quick question for you both. What sort of things are you going to tell your team in the first 30 minutes of your breakout session?
1, 2, 3, clap, knee, and I'll leave number 3 till last.
Oh, cryptic. Okay, and just tell us a little bit about your leadership style, Josh. Okay, you've been around once. Just tell the audience, what sort of leader are you on board? Oh.
What type of leader? Oh, crikey. I'd like to ask the levels I've taught already. I suppose just it's nice to be nice. So look out for one another and take care of one another.
I agree. Well said. I think when it comes to racing, he's not too nice. Podium finish on the last race, so let's see how he goes, huh? Okay, guys, please finally give it up for Team Josh. Stay where you are. All right, so that concludes our allocation. I would just like to invite all skippers and all AQPs back to the stage, please. Let's have the whole line up here. Give them all a round of applause. So there we have it. That is our 22 sailing staff, 11 skippers, 11 AQPs, amazing bunch of people. They are going to be leading you guys around the world. I hope you've had a great first part of Allocation. Give them all one more round of applause, please. Thank you very much.